70 years ago, as a young lad, I can still remember listening to the radio on a Saturday morning. We used to listen to what was the hit song of the week. That came from Great Britain and also from across the Atlantic, from America. I'll always remember hearing a record by a Texan cowboy called Tex Ritter. And he told a story. He didn't sing it. He spoke the story and told you a story about a platoon soldier who got caught in church with a deck of cards and got court-martialed. This is that story. It was during the North African campaign when a platoon of soldiers were on their way back to barracks, and on the way they had quite a way to go, and they stopped at a village called Casino. They rested overnight, and the following day, with it being Sunday, the soldiers went to church, accompanied by their sergeant. During the service, the clergyman, after he finished his sermon, asked the congregation to take out their Bibles. Everyone in the congregation did. The platoon sergeant ordered his men to do the same. They followed suit, with the exception of one of the soldiers who didn't have a Bible. Instead, he took out from his pocket a deck of cards and spread them in front of him. When the sergeant saw what he'd done, he was angry with the soldier and told him to put away the cards. After the service, the platoon sergeant reprimanded the soldier, arrested him, and told him he would be held on court-martial charges the following day. The next day, when the court-martial convened, the provost marshal asked the sergeant what the soldier had done. The sergeant replied, "He was playing cards in church, sir." The provost marshal replied, "Is that so? Did you have a deck of cards in church with you?" "Yes," replied the soldier, "but I wasn't playing with them. They were helping me to pray." "I can explain further if you wish, sir." The provost marshal said he wanted to hear the story, but added if it wasn't good, if it didn't convince him, he would punish the soldier more severely than the soldier had ever been punished in his life. "It's like this," said the soldier. "I didn't have a Bible. I didn't have an almanac. All I had was a deck of cards on me, and I had to make use of them in the most fitting way I could. When I spread them out in front of me in church, when I saw the ace, it reminded me that there was one God. The two reminded me that the Bible was divided in two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. The three reminded me of the Blessed Trinity, the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. And the four reminded me of the evangelists Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, who preached the gospel. When I see the five, I recall the 5 wise virgins who trimmed their lamps, and the 5 foolish virgins who were shut out. The 6 reminds me that God made this heaven and earth in 6 days. The 7 reminds me that on the 7th day, God rested. 8 reminds me that when God flooded the earth to destroy the earth, he saved 8 people. There was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives. 9 reminds me of the 9 lepers who didn't thank the Lord, who cleansed them. Only one of them had thanked the Lord, but 9 went away without thanking him. And when I see 10, it reminds me of the 10 commandments that God passed to Moses on a tablet of stone. When I count the spots on the cards, I find there are 365, the numbers of days in a year. When I count the cards in the pack, there are 52, the numbers of weeks in a year. There are 12 picture cards in the pack, the number of months in a year. There are 13 tricks in the pack, the number of weeks in a quarter. And there are 4 suits in the pack, the number of weeks in a month. So you see, sir, my deck of cards act as my Bible and my almanac. Now, just in case you're wondering, this is a true story. I know, because I was there. I was that soldier.